take that training?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, you can allow the students to take that.
Yeah, I have already arranged
Yes.
with my students. There are about 70 students, and they agreed to work with this training. And I promised them if they
Okay.
actually finish the training, they will get a certificate, and also motivating them to actually to think about the use cases.
Oh, that's great. Thank you
Yes,
for
and
that. And
we are going
also,
to do together in our class. Yeah.
oh, okay. Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. Please, in case you want any support from Ken and I, we are available. Just let us know the days that you do it, then we will be able to join the meeting. We are here to
Yeah.
support you.
Yeah. Thank you. I know you are here. You, Kenneth, Dr. Kenneth. I mean, yeah. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Hii ni huduma ya bure.
You're welcome. Welcome is Asante, right?
From charge, is it?
Ken is welcome, Asante.
Karibu sana. Karibu.
Asante.
Karibu sana. Okay, karibu sana.
Yeah.
Which language is that?
Swahili.
Swahili.
August, I think you need to learn how to speak Swahili.
I would like to. I would like to very much. I want to learn how to speak every language, but there's only so much time in the world.
Yeah, you see Edward here trying to speak Swahili.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So welcome everybody. We are joined by Stella, Karia, and Kekilia Kabalimu. Kekilia, where are you calling us from, sir? Madam.
Kekilia Kabalimu from Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, Tanzania Forest Services. Hello.
Wapi huko?
Mama yangu, nimechelewa darasa. Tanzania.
Mimi Antio. Okay. Thank you very much, Kekelia, for joining us. Ministry of Transport, Dodoma.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in Dar es Salaam.
Dar es Salaam, Welcome very much. We're also joined by Stella Mutai and Kairia, and also, is it possible, August, to put a mute on your microphone?
Of course.
Okay, now it's clear.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Stella, please greet us and tell us more about your training and experience, please.
Hi, my name is Stella. I think all of you know me. Yes, my training with Digital Earth Africa has been awesome. The tutorials have been wonderful. They're easy to understand. Yes, also, I'm still learning on the coding part, but everything else is well understandable. Where I liked what you posted in the group on the link. The one who did that presentation, just to have a view of what they are doing, because I think in IFAD we also do a lot of coastal analysis, and it would just be good to see what it can be helpful in, especially that now I'm working on Cambodia and we're doing a lot on coastal analysis on Cambodia. So it would be a great insight before I begin the analysis from that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stella. I hope we could have a use case for Cambodia, but anyway, in Africa, we are good to go, especially on the coastline. So I remember you had some work for Djibouti. Did that one go very well with your team?
Yes, for Djibouti went well. Even the one that we did recently of the Northeastern, it was also very good. I think I shared the Excel with you. Yes, and I'm very happy with it. I think I'll also do the same presentation once there's more time.
Thank you very much, Stella. Dr. Kairia, please greet us and tell us the experience from Zanzibar, State University of Zanzibar, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. To me, everything is good. Just waiting for, because as I told you before, I'm actually working with my students, trying to help them on training first, and then maybe after 3 to 4 weeks, we'll come up with use cases on the maybe floods, areas, coastal area issues, and others. Because till now we are still in a training session. It may be after, as I told you, after maybe 4 weeks, maybe we can come up with a lot of use cases, because we are many actually.
Thank you very much, Karia. I think during my last visit, I was able to see the group, which is growing pretty much. Would you be talking about master students or bachelor's, fourth year?
Actually, for masters, I can't say anything about master's students because they are just starting their course and they're in introduction phase, so I can't say anything for now, but maybe later I can talk about the master's students, because we are actually don't have geoinformatics courses for the master's students. We are just having for our department, we have just Masters of IT. So they just have one course of GIS and remote sensing. But for bachelor degree, we have, again, we have a geography and computer science and IT students. So together, they are working on GIS issues, including on developing maps. And that's why I try to organize those students to learn this training. I mean, to learn based on this training, and then to come up with those use cases.
Thank you very much, Karia. We are also joined by Kekelia Kabilimu, calling from Dar es Salaam, from the Ministry of Transport in Dar es Salaam. Do you have any experience with Digital Art Africa? And also welcome to the first session, your first session. Kekelia. Okay, I think she'll connect her microphone soon. Otherwise, Edward had a very good presentation to kick us off today. Edward, please continue, sir.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much. Today, I wanted to do a presentation of one of the notebooks that is on the sandbox. That's the vegetation phenology. I think previously we've actually been using the NDVI vegetation analysis for the NDVI. We've actually been using it for a lot of study use cases with a lot of areas, especially farmlands, the one that we have. So today, what I planned to do was to do a demonstration, also give a presentation on how the vegetation phenology notebooks actually work. It's actually an improved upon the NDVI time series that we have been using previously. So I'll share my screen. So let me share my screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me share the screen. Hello, please can you see the screen?
Yes, Edward.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to take you through the new notebook, that's the vegetation phenology. So right now, instead of focusing on only the NDVI time series analysis or the enhanced vegetation index time series analysis, right now you can also go further using the vegetation phenology. Actually, vegetation phenology will actually help us to do enough analysis of the vegetation season for a particular farm areas. So we will still be applying the same principle when it comes to the NDVI time series. But when we reach the phenology part, DA Africa has brought in a function called the XR phenology, where we'll be using it to do the analysis in relation to the phenology aspect. So basically, the course follows the same principle whereby we load our packages. Without these packages, you can't get access to the functions that you have. So the first stage is to load your packages, then connect to the data cube. Then on the step 3, this is where you specify whether you want to use the NDVI for the time series or you want to use the enhanced vegetation index for the time series. So you can see something like the veg_proxy. That's the section you can actually change the true values. So if you want to use NDVI for your analysis, you maintain the NDVI. But if you want to use the EVI, that's the enhanced vegetation index, you choose that one. Then as usual, you specify your latitude and longitude, and you specify your buffer. And you also specify the time range. So with this one, we are using the data from 2018, that's January to May. So you just want to see the life cycle of a particular vegetation from January to May. You can actually do more than that. You can actually maybe you can actually do it 1 year so that it can actually gives you how the farmland or the vegetation perform over that period or the cropland perform over that period. So in the cell 6, what you see here is our study area, and the one with the red box is our bounding box. So this is where we are currently working it. We will be using it for the calculation. Also, we will be using Sentinel-2. We'll be using Sentinel-2 for it. So we have our query, which actually will contain the measurements we need, the resolution, and also using the load ARD, we will load our product onto the variable, that's DX. So we will load that product onto the DX variable, just to display the results over a period of time. So for the area that we chose, we are just displaying the results. So these are some of the years that we are. So we pick within the time step, we pick the first index, that's the first time step, the 5th time step, and the 10th time step. These things can be changed. So if we actually look at the results when we printed out, you notice that we have a time step of 29. So that means whereby we chose 0, 5, and 10. You can also actually choose 4, 7, and 20. So depending on the time step that you want to visualize, you can be changing these numbers to see the actual index that you want to see. So this is just a sample of some of the satellite imagery, Sentinel-2 satellite imagery that we pull out from the data cube, and we just display the results out here. The next step, fairly simple, compute the indices using the calculate_indices function. Because we specify NDVI, it's going to give us the NDVI calculation. Then you do the plotting. So if you look at the plotting, the graph, it starts from January 1st, 2018 to May 2018. And if you look at the plot, that is the NDVI time series over these particular months. But you notice that there was a break here, meaning some of the data were missing. So that's why you didn't actually get a continuous line straight, a continuous line connecting this dot and that dot. But that shouldn't be worried. Right now, using the time series, there's a function called the interpolate none, in which right now you can use it to interpolate areas whereby there was no connection. So using the interpolate from the NDVI, you can use the interpolate none to actually, it will do the computation and compute values between the areas whereby there was a mixing data. So right now from the graph, you'll be able to appreciate that this area has actually been connected. So you don't have any gap, or maybe maybe there were clouds there, but right now the area has been connected. So we can actually have a fair idea of what happened there based on the interpolation. So that's one way to calculate the mixing value, in which we didn't have a straight line in the previous graph, as is showing here. DA Africa also provide a function called fast complete. So there's one method that you can use to interpolate the mixing value. But if you don't want to use this method, you also use the DE Africa function, that's the temporal statistics, and it has a method called fast complete. The fast complete also do the same thing as you see here. So if you look at the graph at cell 11, you notice that the fast complete also did the same computation as the area that was missing. So if you compare, you actually see how the interpolation did this and how the fast completion also did this. For me personally, I actually prefer to use the fast complete because it doesn't actually take much calculation as compared to use the normal interpolate underscore NA, that's the non-values. I prefer to use the fast complete. So that one will actually help you to interpolate the missing values and put them in the graph. So as you can see, from January, that was early, so maybe in the dry season, or maybe they haven't even planted anything. Or maybe they have been planted, but the vegetation is not yet yielding. But as time goes on, you realize that we had a peak region, then it also started falling down. That means that's the life cycle of that particular farm area that we chose. If you look at the graph, it's like more of like, it's very straight, more rigid. We can also smoothen it out. So with the curve to make it more lively, more interactive. So as you see this one as compared to the previous one, you notice that this graph is more smoother than the one we have here, which makes it nicer. So we have the rolling mean or the smooth. Using those applications will make your line graph very smooth. So you can see how smooth the curve rises and it falls. So it's like a mountainous region. As compared to the previous, how it was very rigid. Like although it's rigid, it's a graph, but if you compare it to the smoother one, you appreciate it much more smoother and also you can actually follow the trend of the graph to know how it goes up and how it goes down. So all these things are just using the NDVI to predict for time series for a particular farmland that one is working on. Then this is where the interesting stuff starts. That's the phenology statistics using the SR phenology. So DA Africa makes it great for you to actually calculate the land surface phenology statistics that describe the characteristics of the life cycle. So all the things that we use for phenology, that's the start of the season, the day of the season. The DOY is the day of the year. So the day of the year of the start of the season, the day of the year of the peak of the season. All these calculations are now inbuilt into the DE Africa. All you need to do is call it out. So how do you do that? Let's go to the cell 14. So you use the TS underscore XR underscore phenology function that is available for the system. Then you call your NDVI value in it. Then you specify the methods that you are interested in. That is the SOS, the POS, the US, or any of the SSS. Any of them that you want to pick, you can actually call them. Then you also specify your method. So after that, you can easily plot the results. So from this results, you can see the SOS. So the system actually tells you the start of the season, where we had a peak season and where the season ended. So that's what you are seeing on the farmland right now. So instead of you doing the interpolation yourself, and say, okay, if you're looking at the peak season, you realize that almost the three of them are almost in line. But instead of you doing it yourself, the phenology statistics can actually help you to depict these values at a go. Not only that, we also have the per pixel phenology statistics, and this function also help you to be able to see the results of these at various seasons. So the start of the season, that was the pixel, that's the color of it. Then the peak of the season. So one is the real color and the other one is the NDVI. So you just be comparing them so that you know that okay, so this is how the over the period, this is how things were working for that particular farmland. We also have the temporal statistics. That's actually an advantage, but it's also very nice because it gives a lot of indication of what is happening on the ground. So you have the discordance, we have the mean, we have the median change, we have the complexity. So all these are also temporal statistics that you can perform on a particular farmland to give you more information based on the phenology. Although this is using the Earth observation and you won't actually get the accurate result when you are using the ground truth method. It actually gives you an indication of what is actually happening on the ground. So based on this, without going to the field, you actually know what is happening on the farm or on the vegetation area to give you a nice ideas of what you can do around that area. So with this, I think it can actually help us with the phenology, it can actually help us to improve upon most of the use cases that we did and get more information to support whatever data you'll be using on the field. So to actually help the decision makers to appreciate whatever we are having. So taking you through the vegetation phenology, I would like you to also go through it and look at it, go through the codes. You can change the area of interest to the area you are interested to work with and run it to see the results. And we will be happy to expect your feedback so that in case you have any challenges, you will help you to run it. This notebook can be found at the frequently used code. So if you go to the DA African notebook, then you go to the frequently used code, you'll find this notebook there. So this is the presentation I wanted to show to the team. Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much,
Ken.
Edward. Thank you very much.
Is there any question I forgot?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ken, sorry, I didn't ask if there was question.
The questions are coming.
Okay. I have Ken and Ogi, so if they are hard, they will help me answer them. So don't worry, bring all the questions.
So we can start with Kairia. She has a question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Edward, for your presentation. I just have one question. Can you tell us where did this study, case study applied? Because I think if it is possible, we can study the transferability of this case study to the other area having the same, similar seasonal, and also we can look on the area that's having the different maybe seasonal. Edward?
Edward, sir, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. So these ones actually help us know the life cycle of what is happening in a particular time period when it comes to vegetation or plants. So it will actually help us to study the plant life cycle. So we can actually use it in farm areas, especially croplands, whereby they do a lot of this plantation to actually estimate their yield values within the period. Where do they actually have high peak of yield? Where do they actually have low peak of yield? And also with that, it actually gives us estimation of what is actually happening on the ground, especially infestation. If a farmland has been infected by insects, we can actually use it because we notice that within the life cycle of plant, maybe those when they start to yield or when they start to show the greenness, then this insect affected it. So actually to also be able to help us within those areas. So that's where I think this notebook can actually help us. I don't know if Ken and August also have some areas you can apply this notebook.
Okay, thank you, Edward. Can you share this use case to the real world example in a sandbox, please?
Yeah, so please, if you go to the sandbox, there's another folder called frequently used code. There's another folder called frequently used code. So when you open it, you see the vegetation phenology there.
Okay, yeah, I saw it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Edward. Do we have another question for Edward? So thank you very much, Edward, for this great presentation. At least it gives us an opportunity for where we can get some of these tools. And I think we have very, very, very many tools that we can use. For example, Kairia can use this vegetation phenology to look at the farming areas we looked at in Ugunja and possibly even beyond in Pemba. So possibly in our next session, we'll have some more input and insights on the same. Also, I wish to ask if there's any question for today's session, or Ogus, were you planning to add any more material for us?
I think maybe in a week or two, I'll have somebody from my team. We can talk offline about this. Presents about the topic of interest. We've done a lot of urbanization studies. We've done some flooding, so some basics of how to do that is something we could present on whenever you want us to.
That's very useful, August, especially most of our big cities experiencing high urbanization rates.
I think Cedric wanted to do cover some WAFs and some other things first, but whenever you or Edward make the call, tell me a couple days in advance, and I'll have someone from my team come and present on these topics and how to make a simple notebook and use the notebook doing these things.
Thank you very much, August. We're also joined by Mossad Hamad from State University of Zanzibar. Mossad, how is your experience with Digital Art Africa training? Have you started looking at the materials? Or yes, karibu sana.
Okay, thanks. Afternoon, everybody. Actually, I was a little bit late. I had some classes today, so that's why I was late. But I'm following this training here, and I'm did some in my computers like this water analysis, session 60. And I have an account there from Sandbox, so sometime I use that one platform also. And that one's helped me a lot because it has high capacity compared what I have from my machine. But I'm doing both. Actually, most of this configuration I had before, that's why it was not like difficult to start with. And I have Kairia around, so anything that is coming around, I will ask her to help. But for this time, I think we are going well. As you say, this one that Edward did, yeah, it's good here in Zanzibar, especially for that. And also have cloves in Zanzibar, which is much more available in Pemba. I think that's another area that we can see how we can work with it. I like the point. I like the question from Maria because it gave us a very good explanation from Edward, but we can start to think about that. And that one is the one among the major used as economic, one among the economic factors in Zanzibar, that's cloves. That's why it's very, very important to us to know, to get how we can implement this kind of vegetation change detection like that. Maybe I can ask another question. Edward, I had my research from my previous university. It was like I did autoencoders. Yeah, it's like a change detection, but using temperature. Are you getting? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Masood. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so I have I have some ideas like a question. I used to implement autoencoders, but it was a kind to find the temperature changes. I mean temperature, humidity, and others. It was I got the data from one among the platform from America. It's called SWAT, I think SWAT something. Yeah, SWAT. They have a huge amount of data. It's like 30 years data. So I used that one to find out the changing temperature. I mean, to find out the outliers between the temperatures. Do you get my point? Then can I use this one? I mean, the script that you used maybe to check out the temperature changes. I see something called change detection. Can you use that the concept of change detection that you used here in Vegetation in my, that's kind of the research temperature change.
Okay. Masood, please, the satellite data that you use, did you use the satellite data? Because with the temperature change, currently, currently what you have will only work for.
Yeah, it's a time series data. The time series data.
Okay, you have the data with you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then we can incorporate it.
Okay.
Yeah. So once you have the data with you, you can incorporate it with the ones you have here to give more understanding to the data.
Okay. Thank you. Asante.
Karibu sana Mossad. I think also we are planning to add the data on temperature later on, but there's some demo data for that purpose, which will stretch also to other applications that we might have on. Oguz, any comments? At least Stella has been able to add some comments on the chat, which some things we can work on. Edward,
Not
can
right
see
now.
the screen. Yep.
Yeah, okay, Ken. So Stella, yes, we can actually use it to monitor transition over years. But so you're going to actually get the actual value. So in terms of percentage, instead of using the normal value, you just convert them to percentage, the percent value. So that can be done.
Thank you very much. Any question before we end our session today so that we can work very hard on our assignments at least next week? And also I will send a notice on the upcoming webinar for next week, 3rd February. I think it will be around 4 p.m., which gives us an opportunity to explore that we could also have this session and then we have the other session later. So we'll be able to communicate with you through the WhatsApp platform and also the respective emails. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, especially Kekelia from Dar es Salaam, and join us, please, next time. Asanteni sana.